First shots fired through the energetic Armament LUX.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the NFA Review channel. Today we're going to review the new energetic Armament LUX. Now this is not their first time on my channel. If you remember, I've already reviewed their Vox S and their NIX 22 can. Now when I reviewed the Vox, I'm pretty sure it was the first time on my channel I ever mentioned the words Hollywood quiet. And that's because that suppressor really surprised me. Out of all the suppressors I had shot up until that point, that one really blew me away, and here they come back again. They have a new design targeted for the precision bolt gun crowd. So I can't wait to dive into this one. Lux, of course, is Latin for light. That goes along with their Latin name theme. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and crack into it. When you open the box, see what you get. Your instructions, of course, very detailed, almost like two engineers own and run that company. And then we have the Lux sticker here, got some anti-seize grease, your takedown wrench, we'll cover that one. This is cool. So now they ship with their vice block here for the suppressor. I see another decal in there and the suppressor, of course. Let's go ahead and toss that aside. These are really cool, guys. They actually tossed me one of these at one of my events a couple of years ago, and I use it all the time. They actually have different sizes as well. So what you do with it, if you have a problem getting a mount off, if it's seized, or if you want to just get it really tight before competition, you throw this sucker in your vise right here, clamp it, and then it'll hold your suppressor without the fear of crushing your tube, and you can work on your can. So that's pretty cool. So a suppressor armor block. Now let's start off right from the top with the specifications. Now I'm going to give you two sets of numbers here, guys. One with a stripped suppressor and one with the flush direct thread mount installed, okay? In the stripped format, you're going to come in at an overall length of 7.6 inches with a weight of 8.56 ounces. And then the diameter is going to be 1.5 inches. And then going back to the length with the flush mount installed, coming in at an overall length of 7.9 inches with a weight of 9.84 ounces. So extremely light suppressor. As far as the construction and materials, it's all titanium here, specifically 6ALV4 grade 5 titanium. And then that is, of course, going to be DFAR certified like the rest of their rifle lineup, the Vox S. As far as the finish here, it is a DLC coating with a boron nitride finish. So that's going to give it really tough properties, as well as give it a really cool, looks like more of a satin gray finish. So it kind of looks like what it would look like if you bead blasted raw titanium. It would kind of give it that gray look, but of course it is actually coated on top of that. Speaking of coatings, on the inside of the baffle stack is coated in S-line. Now that's going to give the baffle stack some lubricity and not allow a lot of carbon to adhere to the inside suppressor to build up. Now generally speaking, you're going to be shooting high pressure hot rounds here through this, okay? So like 300 Win Mag, you're not going to have a huge problem without coated baffles of carbon buildup, but some still will stick. Okay, of course, center fire, pistol can, rim fire, of course, always build up. They have to be serviced. This is a fully welded tube. No end user serviceability here. No need to open it up. And to ensure that, they went ahead and applied that S-line coating, which was really cool of them to do. Now, as far as caliber ratings, this suppressor actually comes in two formats. So you can get a 7.62 millimeter bore aperture, which is what we have here. And this is a welded on end cap. These are not interchangeable. And they also have a different version of the LUX 6.5. So two different bore apertures depending on the precision bolt gun crowd out there, some of you guys really want a tight bore aperture for maximum suppression. That you're going to want to go for that 6.5 Creedmoor. Of course, we have here the 7.62 version. Now, as far as caliber ratings, 7.62. So you're going to have 7.62, 308, 300 Win Mag, 300 Blackout, 6.5 Creedmoor, 300 Norma with adapters, 5.56. So pretty much going to cover all your bases if you go for the 7.62 version. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the most popular seller. As far as barrel length restrictions, full titanium can here, it is tough, but as far as your magnum calibers, like 300 Win Mag, they want you to stick with a 20-inch barrel length and up. Anything else is fair game. So 300 Blackout, you want to run a 8-inch barrel on it, no problem. Now, as far as the warranty, it is lifetime, and that brings me to my next topic, and that is their serialized ID ring. So this is where all your pertinent information for the suppressor is located, and they patented this idea, and it is freaking awesome. So generally speaking, if you had a baffle strike, it's going to generally happen about the midpoint to the forward section of the suppressor, as the trajectory of the round is off from improperly threaded barrel, improperly seated can, maybe use crush washers or something. It's going to happen somewhere around here. It's definitely not going to happen around here, and it is impossible to happen here, because if you look, the threads extend almost right to the end of where the ID ring is. So anything can happen from here forward, blow the can up, you mail it to Energetic Armament, they're going to pop this ID ring off, okay, which you already paid the tax stamp for, and they're going to slide it on over a brand new suppressor, tack it on, and send it out the door to your house. So two things there. Don't have to worry about your investment and fast turnaround time. So that is really cool of them to do, and kind of a simple solution to a problem we were having. If you remember back in the day, we would engrave your serialized information like all up and down the can. Well, if anything happened, you're pretty much screwed. What they would do is if you had a sealed can like this back in the day and you had a baffle strike forward of the writing, they would have to hack the can down, essentially making some one-off custom can that's louder, and then re-weld on the front cap just before the writing started. So don't have to worry about that anymore. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, they debuted that with the Vox, and of course they're going to continue it with their lineup. And remember when I mentioned this was for the bolt action crowd? Okay, a lot of you, of course, are going to use the direct thread mount, which is cool. But Energetic Armament kind of pulled a Volvo on us here. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Volvo, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Volvo pioneered the 3-point seatbelt. Well, instead of charging the automotive industry to the point to where they couldn't afford it and licensing it, Volvo gave it away to the automotive world. Well, kind of the same thought process was behind their thread pitch for the rear portion of the suppressor. This is threaded 1.375 by 24, which is a common mounting thread pitch for their competitors' systems. So if you didn't want to use your 5/8 by 24 direct thread mount, and you're a precision bolt guy who has a lot of money invested in your, $8,000 and up dollar bolt guns, and you typically in that arena, you're going to have a lot of Thunder Beast Arms Corps mounts and suppressors. So what they did was kind of what they did with the Vox S. And Vox S, if you remember, they reached out to Dead Air and said, you know what? You guys build a really kick-ass QD mount. We love it. Not much to improve upon. Do you mind if we work together and we have an adapter for our can that uses your mount? Dead Air's like, sure, no problem. So they did the same thing here with Thunder Beast. You have an adapter, EA37, so that is going to work. So Energetic Armament mount 37. Ooh, wow, that goes in there nice. That is very satisfying, very precise. That is going to work with all the Thunder Beast mounts. So if you look at their mounts, actually, you have a direct thread, so it's not a QD, but this gives you the ability to shoot the gun with a timed break, unsuppressed. And then, of course, it comes with washers to time it. If you look here, once the thread stopped, you have a nice taper here that's going to interlock with the taper in the back of the EA37 mount. So this is going to give all those precision bolt guys the ability to run a LUX on all of their guns that are already set up. Now I can't tighten it on there because of course it's not mounted, but you can see how the tapers will lock together and the can won't go anywhere. So that's pretty cool. So it's pretty nice of them to see that they're playing nicely with everybody in the industry. You know, why fight it? The suppressor is the important part. They don't want to cost you guys more money, you know, unnecessarily, just to use their QD mounting system. So I thought that was really, really cool of them to do, and it makes total sense. Real quick here in the studio, I want to show you what this looks like mounted up to one of the guns we're going to be shooting. So we're going to be bringing my Remington 700 set in a Accuracy International stock. I use this a lot. I'm sure you guys have seen this here on the channel before. Timney trigger, nice gun. Kind of a Frankenstein gun, but it shoots well. So we're going to bring this to check for point of impact shift, because remember, this is set for the bolt action precision crowd, okay? And anytime you add a weight to the end of your barrel, it can change it will change the barrel harmonics. Now, whether a suppressor changes point of impact shift or not is not as important as the grouping size. So what I mean by that is, if you're a precision bolt gun shooter, you already know what I'm about to say. You're going to have this gun sighted in with or without a can, or if you have, for some reason, an unsuppressed stage and a suppressed stage, you're going to know exactly the adjustments you need to make to change that point of impact shift. Typically, there's a small amount of suppressors on the market that will actually tighten your grouping as they stabilize the gas behind the bullet once it leaves the barrel. So typically, when a bullet leaves the barrel, you know, it all uncorks here at the crown of the muzzle and boom, hits the atmosphere. This is going to allow that to do a little slower. So typically, sometimes you can tighten a group. Now, this is only, you know, just over 8 ounces. It shouldn't really affect the point of impact shift much. For those of you that don't know, there's a way you can tune barrel harmonics by actually putting on these little rubberized weights, and you can slide them around, play with them at the range, and you can actually change the barrel harmonics whip of the barrel and really tighten up your groups. So that's pretty neat. We are also going to shoot it on the very dirty and never cleaned Ruger American 300 Blackout. Should sound really good on there. Hopefully we'll get some Hollywood quiet footage out of it there. So today I'm going to bring some fresh spray paint. We're going to shoot steel unsuppressed, and then you know what? We'll do it with this mount. So before we go, I'll get the Thunder Beast Arms mount installed on this gun. We'll shoot some unsuppressed groups. We'll throw the can on. We'll shoot some groups next to it and see if it shifts and if the group tightens up. And then we'll use the flush mount, the 5/8 by 24, on the 300 Blackout. That way we use both mounts and 2 different calibers so we can see what it sounds like. So I'm ready. If you're ready, let's go ahead, get packed up, and hit that range. Nice. Great tone.
All right, guys, we're gonna be shooting 3 rounds on steel. It's fresh paint. We're using Black Hills Ammunition Factory New 168 grain boat tail hollow points. We're gonna shoot 3 rounds to get a grouping here. And then we'll throw the can on and see what the point of impact shift looks like. Bullseye. Stacked it. Nice. Let's go take a look at that grouping.
I swear though, man, shooting in a truck bed with earmuffs, man, you make one little tiny air gap and your ear is ringing. Muzzle brake in a truck bed is not friendly. Wow, look at that. So looks like we got 1, 2, 3. So very tight group. Very tight group of that ammo, actually. I'm impressed. So we're not gonna change anything. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the can on and see what happens.
No movement at all. Wow. Right on top of the other one. Holy crap. I haven't shot this good in a while. Dude, that is one of my best groupings I've shot in a long time.
Okay, I don't know, it looked really good through my scope at 15x power, so it looked like I was stacking them right on top of each other. Let's see what we got, see what we got. So here was the original group right here, and here was with the suppressor. You can see 1, 2, 3 impacts. So that's your group for unsuppressed. Suppressed, it's kind of hard to tell because the steel's, you know, used and beat up, but definitely splash here, and then these two overlap. So the group is a little tighter, and it shifted about an inch to the 7 o'clock. So very, very, very acceptable. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to repaint this and start over with suppressed only, and let's shoot a 10 round group and see how tight we can keep it. No pressure.
All right, guys, we have the target repainted, and we are gonna stack them 10 deep with a fresh group. I noticed earlier when I was shooting that last string, I was getting some heat mirage off the top. So I threw on a Coltac heat mirage cover. My patrons get half off. This one wasn't spec'd for this can. I just brought it along. So it's actually a little longer than the suppressor. Just a note, when this happens, or if it is to size, make sure it's tight and it does not slide forward under recoil. If the suppressor cover moves past the crown of the suppressor, it can create problems with accuracy. So you want to make sure it's moved back a good amount here. Let me just ensure that this doesn't move. It's pretty tight. So let's go ahead and shoot 10 rounds. I'm probably gonna fast forward this because I don't want you guys to sit through, 3 minutes of me shooting groups. All right, guys, 10 rounds. I had bugs landing on my face and stuff. I was so still. I checked the suppressor cover halfway through just to make sure it wasn't moving, and it hadn't moved. So 10 rounds, let's see. Look at that. Awesome. It's crazy what it does to the paint that's not dry. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're all, I mean, right there, the tip of my finger. Very, very tight group. I know I didn't bring anything to measure it, guys, but this thing is shooting extremely well. It did tighten the groups too, for sure. I am impressed. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video so far. Definitely impressed with the energetic Armament LUX. More so with the accuracy than the suppression. The suppression was great. 300 blackout. We were shooting subsonic rounds and very, very low tone, no first round pop. Okay, so we're good there. And as far as the 308 Winchester, I mean, we're shooting supersonic rounds, no ears on, no discomfort, very low pitch, tone sounded great. And huge shout out, by the way, to Thunderbeast Arms on that 2-chamber muzzle brake. I mean, you guys have been watching my channel for a while now. You know when I do a direct thread suppressor, I'll shoot the unsuppressed profile scenes with that gun with nothing on it, so just straight threads. Pretty sharp recoil impulse, if you remember. Just with that 2-chamber brake, the recoil was cut in half. Then you add a suppressor on it, and the recoil's cut back even more. As far as the accuracy, that's what really shined today. A lot of manufacturers claim minimal to no point of impact shift. I'm sure you see it on literally everybody's website. This thing had an inch, if not less, of shift. Very, very minimal. I could probably tighten it up even more if I took longer time to shoot. And more importantly, it tightened the groups. I mean, that 10-round string, that was a tight 10-round string. And I looked at the camera. It took me, with addressing you guys, and then I fast forwarded it. It took me 3 minutes. I took 3 minutes-ish, maybe 2.5 to 3 minutes to shoot those 10 rounds. So I could have taken longer maybe and got it even tighter, but I think that was pretty acceptable at 100 yards, shooting just factory ammo. So definitely impressed. The Coltac heat mirage cover, I am so glad I put that on before we did that. Number one, as you can see, I only have 3 boxes of ammo left of 308, so I need to go buy some. I mean, this stuff's like $2 a round out here, so it is very expensive to come out here and do these reviews. So shout out to my patrons on Patreon, because it is getting crazy to come out here and film for you guys. Again, I'm glad I put the Coltac cover on because I was getting mad heat mirage before that. I threw it on and it pretty much got rid of 90% of it, so that was cool. Again, I checked halfway to make sure that nothing was moving. You don't want that suppressor cover to go past the crown of the suppressor. It could throw your shots off. It can widen your groups. So everything was copacetic there. So yeah, all in all, for a retail price, I think it was $1,070 retail. So you're going to be coming in at under the $1,000 mark at a retailer like, you know, Silencer Shop. I'm not sure if they carry it. They probably do. You can call Gun Trader Den and St. Pete. They're my personal shop.
and I'm sure they can order one in for you. So really, really cool. Again, big shout out to my patrons on Patreon. If you guys are in need of a Coltac suppressor cover, you guys get half off once per month. You know how to contact me on Patreon. As far as videos upcoming, we have review videos from Sig Sauer, Microtech, Coltac, and AB suppressor. Off the top of my head, those are all in different stages of filming and waiting on paperwork and stuff. So I think that pretty much wraps up my ending thoughts today. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed the video. It was certainly fun out here to shoot. Beautiful day out here in Florida. Temperature was about 55 to 60 degrees once we got shooting. Humidity pretty low. So again, hope you enjoyed it. If this is your first time on the channel, please smash that subscribe button and click that thumbs up. It definitely helps us here on the channel get noticed so we can get this information out to more shooters to spread the word on NFA items. I'll see you guys next time.